I'm going to talk more about franchise consulting. Now, you may remember from one of my earlier videos that I said that when I first found franchising, I was really sold on the idea because it's exciting. I am a person who wants to be in business and doesn't want to be alone. And I loved the idea that the United States had this program in place that would make that possible for me. And I was at a time of transition in my life. I was vulnerable for my own sets of reasons. It wasn't easy for me to get a job, yet I was under pressure to make a lot of money very quickly. And I spent a lot of time knowing that I might be defrauded, having read the books about the FDDs and all of the things that I needed to do so that I wouldn't be defrauded, even having had a friend who had a Harvard MBA recommend me personally to the franchising system because he really believed in it. I was so sold on it that one of the first franchises I looked into purchasing was actually a franchise that sells franchises. So I was able to go to what is called in the franchising world the discovery days to investigate a franchise for franchise consultants to sell franchises. And if you're in the process of purchasing a franchise, you may have done one of these discovery days yourself, but basically what you do is you fly to the headquarters of the franchise and you meet the owners of the franchise. You get the chance to ask questions. It always includes a dinner, it seems, where you go out and you meet the owners and the bosses on a more intimate personal level or something like that. And you spend time sitting in their headquarters asking questions. And I had a lot of questions about franchise consulting and how it would work. And my background is in psychology. I have a master's in psychology, so I was curious about the psychology behind the sales, I guess, because that's, my interest and that's what I wanted to know. So one of the things that they trained me in this franchise consulting franchise was that it's important to, when you have a potential franchisee come to you and you've got a lead that really is going to go somewhere and isn't just a tire kicker, because we wouldn't want to be tire kickers, right? That the franchisee is overwhelmed by stimuli online. Because right now, franchising is so big that if you look online and you're looking to buy a franchise, you're going to get offer after offer after offer after offer. And it's too much. It's too much information for any potential franchisee to weed through. So, as a franchise consultant, it's very important, according to the training that I received at this Discovery Days, it's very important to narrow down for the franchisee the number of franchise choices, possibilities to them, to only 3. So you listen to your client who's a potential franchisee, you get them to tell you about themselves, you might give them some personality tests or some other assessments to get more information, and then you offer them 3 franchises that you think might be a good fit. And then you support that franchisee through the process of hopefully investigating the franchise and hopefully buying the franchise. And if the franchisee does actually sign the dotted line and purchase, then as the franchise consultant, you get a huge percentage of that initial franchise fee. So if the franchisee does sign, the franchisee pays this hefty franchise fee to the franchisor, and then the franchisor gives a large percentage of that. I don't remember the percentages now, but I think they were from 15 to 35%, depending on the contract that the franchise consulting franchise had with the franchisors. The franchisor would give 15 to 35% of that franchise fee that the franchisee paid to the franchisor back to the franchise consulting company to pay for the franchise consulting company being there to support the franchisee while the franchisee makes the decision to sign that dotted line and remember that very dangerous contract. And one of the things, I wanted to know about the sales techniques because I'm, a background in psychology, it's interesting to me. One of the things that I was told that the franchise consultants are supposed to do is be very, very supportive and not providing a lot of pressure. And the reasoning behind that was that when pressure is applied, the experiences taught them that the potential franchisees don't ever sign or don't generally sign the dangerous contracts. But when the franchise consultant is very supportive and there to encourage the franchisee that, yes, I understand that your family is saying that you probably shouldn't buy a franchise, and really the people who sign these contracts are very brave people. They're people who believe in the American dream and are willing to take that risk to be in business for themselves. And you're supposed to be saying these things. It's understandable that your family is advising you not to do this because probably they're not the kind of people who would sign these contracts. Really implying to the potential franchisee that, it's an amazing, incredible, hardworking American who will take this risk and who will really make their life better by deciding to go into business for themselves rather than being an employee for someone else. So in other words, that franchise consultant who is paid by the franchisor is there to support people in the process of signing a dangerous contract, because it's been found that a lot of potential franchisees won't ever get to the point of signing the contract unless they have that support person there to be with them to help them through the process. So, franchisors are willing to pay 15 to 35% of their franchise fee that they get to a franchise consultant in order to get their potential franchisees to feel safe enough to sign the dotted line. This is just a lot of money getting thrown around. And one of the things that the potential franchisees get told is that, the franchise consultant, you don't have to pay for that. So you should use a franchise consultant to help you decide which franchise to buy, which means narrowing it down to 3 and then giving you lots of support to sign the contract, because you don't even have to pay the franchise consultant, right? It's free to you. You might as well use it. But remember, that franchise fee is really hefty, and that franchise fee is supposed to go for paying for your training and the other resources and support you're supposed to get when you sign the franchise agreement, right? And while you're building your business, because the whole idea is you're supposed to be in business for yourself, but not by yourself, right? That franchise fee is supposed to cover that not by yourself part. But the franchise spend a huge amount of that just to get you on board to sign the contract, which means once you've signed that contract, they really feel like they've paid for you. I mean, all of their efforts are about, because remember, they're making a lot of money off of these franchise fees, because, unless they really are investing all of it in your training, clearly they're not investing the percentage that they're giving to the franchise consultants in your training. Well, and the other thing to keep in mind, too, is, that franchise fee, it's coming from the franchisee's retirement or the franchisee's savings. It's not that you're really not paying it. You are paying it. You're paying the franchise consultant some huge percentage of money in order to help you feel good enough about signing a really dangerous contract. And then again, once you've signed that dangerous contract, the franchisor's really feeling like they got you. They need to give you the training and stuff for something. They need to give you what you need in order to make the business successful enough. Maybe we'll get to that in the next video, because remember, you signed that contract, right? But yeah, they win, you lose.